lovers. Welcome back to the Lintorious podcast, episode 14. 14. That's amazing. I have lipstick on because I just did an audition. And I just took pictures for my 100-pound fat suit social experiment update. So if you're not on Instagram or Facebook, go there, look for my updates, and tell me what you think. Let's see, episode 14. Of course, we have Jalen White back again. He's going to be back every month. It's my trusty sidekick and superstar. And we talk about my Chicago experience, the business of comedy, what we learned in business, because the business is just as important as the performance. All right, and there's other stuff on there that I can't quite remember, but you'll enjoy it. And keep coming back because the juicy stuff is coming later this month. Love you. Thank you for listening. Bye. Welcome to episode 14 of the Lintorious podcast. Woo!
Episode 14.
Episode 14. Thank you, Jalen. Jalen White is back.
Yeah.
Jalen White is back with us. Sober or not, I'm not sure. But he's here today.
It's questionable.
But thank you. Thank you for being here. I love talking to you.
Thank you for having me.
I love what's new with you?
What's new?
Tell me what's new.
Just gearing up for my comedy album at the end of this year.
Yay! October
26th.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just working on material, getting ready for our New York trip.
30 minutes or 1 hour?
I'm gonna do 30.
You're doing 30 minutes. Yeah. And are you doing audio and visual or just audio?
Just audio.
Ooh.
This round, yeah.
There you go. How exciting. October is gonna come like that.
Yeah. I'm super excited. I'm
Like,
I don't have a sexy voice to listen to.
Yes, you do.
But, I'm gonna do my best.
You're a comedian. Do we need a sexy voice?
Some of us. I mean, at least I don't have, what is it, Gilbert Gottfried's voice?
Oh, like a unique, like a. No. You're easy to listen to. Gilbert Gottfried's voice. I know. Oh, rest in peace. Didn't he pass away?
Yeah.
Oh, Gilbert, rest in peace. But anyway.
Imagine he's still alive. No. He's gone.
In Mexico with Tupac. They're just chilling, making residual income. But okay, so, and the New York trip.
Yes, we have
in
our
June,
show
March 9th. The show's coming. Jalen's hosting.
Yes.
It's gonna be you know what I notice about you? That I think you like hosting because you don't like to just sit there and wait for your spot. I think you have to do
attention whore.
And when you're hosting, you set the tone.
Yeah.
You control the room. You pace the room. You have so much more to do.
Yeah. I like it. I like running around constantly.
Yeah, paying attention.
To find people, paying attention to other people's set, trying to keep the energy live.
Right. It's more responsibility.
Yeah.
But it's like such an important job.
Yeah. It's always a good time. I mean, you can tell the difference between somebody that's hosting and they're kind of like filling it out, or they're focused on being more funny, and I'm just focused on trying to make everybody look good.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I'm so excited.
But okay, so March 9th, New York, June 29th weekend, and then you're recording October.
Yes.
But there's going to be more in between those, but that's the big... Oh, it's February 29th. This is going to be already past when this airs, but we're doing a Speak Pleasy show.
Yes.
Which is grown folks only.
Grown folks only.
Privacy policy, no cell phones, because we going to say some shit.
Secret show. It's
Secret
giving.
location. We will...
I'm excited.
I know, me too.
There's this.
You know what's funny? I did a show yesterday at like a boys club type of venue.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, like I was telling Joe in the other episode, like I always felt like I was one of the boys.
Yeah.
So to me, I was like, I felt like their mom, first of all, because I'm so old. But also, you know what I liked about the boys club, and I might get in trouble for saying this, but I liked the fact that I didn't have to worry about hurting anyone's feelings. That was what I love the most about it.
Yeah.
Because I can just say whatever, and they'll either laugh or roast me back. Do you know what I mean? Versus in some other rooms, I have to be mindful of who am I going to offend?
Yeah.
You know, who's going to whatever. So I like that about Boys Club. the boys club that I did.
That's dope. That was the show with Mammal.
He just showed up as a guest. I know.
I love that.
I was like, oh, Mammal, that's so sweet. But anyhow, what else? Oh, I wish you went to Chicago with me.
Yes.
I wish you were there. You would have had such a blast.
How was it?
A lot of lessons. You know what? In Chicago, first of all, I don't know how the hell we pulled it off. You know, I don't know. The comedy gods.
Yeah.
They just figure it out. Like some of our Ice House shows, I'm like, how did we even pull this shit off? Anyway, but in Chicago, we sold out 2 shows, which was really awesome. And then the first night was a harder room. Why? Because it was mostly black crowd, and black crowds are harder. They don't pity laugh.
Not at all.
Not at all. If you're not funny, then that's figure it out.
Yeah, they're thinking about how much gas they wasted to get here. They have to go to work tomorrow. This was $30. They could have got a quick meal for the night.
But I mean, I did well. I had a good set.
Nice.
I had a good set, but I tend to relate better to black crowds or Asian crowds or whatever it is. So that first night was a harder crowd, and then the second night was a bigger crowd, but it was a lighter, like they were more generous.
I love that.
They were more generous laughers and etc. Right? But the Saturday night, what I learned was that I somehow there's a comic on the show who's really hot and pretty and white and going through divorce and whatever, and she had a YSL bag.
Okay. Say her name without saying her name.
She knows. She loves this shit. She had a YSL bag that she just put on the floor. Like, whatever. How much money do you have to just put a YSL bag on the floor? That was like her beater bag or diaper bag or whatever.
Wow.
So I picked it up and I was like, oh my God, I feel rich in this bag. Like, that leather was so smooth, Jalen. So smooth. I was like, whoa. So then when she was on stage... No, right before she went up, and I was like, Andrea, let me use your bag so I can carry it on the stage so I can be relatable. Because she had so many of her friends there. And so I went up with the bag, and because the audience was in on it with the bag, and they knew Andrea, and she just went up right before me and everything, the audience felt really connected, and they felt involved.
Yeah.
So then after that, they followed me right away on social media, which taught me, wow. So that's the beauty of crowd work.
Yeah.
That's why, and it's, and of course it's like a lot of people they don't like crowd work, or a lot of comics don't like crowd work because they're saying you're not writing material. Mm-hmm. But the thing is, it connects you to the audience. Yeah. Right? You know what I'm saying? They feel... Yeah,
I mean, I think that's why a lot of those comedians that are on TikTok, using TikTok as a platform to expand their audience base, I think it's working for them just because they are feeling more involved in their material. Like, it's more than just a regular stand-up performance. It's engaging in a sense, and I do think some people rely on it, but I think you can tell the difference between somebody that's like, there's that comedian, what's her name? I really adore her name. Is like Jessica Kershaw. I love her because she has a whole special where it's just crowd work.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And then she's also has a shit ton of material that she's doing at the same time in between as well. Right. So it like balances out, but like I feel like that helps her build a following. Right. You know what I mean?
And I didn't learn this until I went to Chicago. Like, oh, that's the reason why people love Matt Rife, or they love, but of course your crowd work has to be good.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm hateful of those people until I'm forced in a situation where my joke doesn't land and I have to do crowd work. And I have to talk to these people.
And and sometimes it's not even about crowd work. It's more just them feeling like they're in the know of something, like the YSL bag, because it wasn't crowd work. It was more like I'm just talking about the bag and making jokes about it, and they feel like, oh, I'm involved in this. Yeah. Right? Yeah, and that's the beauty of working smaller crowds, like smaller rooms, like 100-seater, 50-seater, whatever. Because when you're doing an arena, I'm pretty sure it's not the same. Yeah. Like they paid a lot of fucking money. They want to see your material.
Yeah, no, you have to bring it.
But that's what I learned. So I learned, so the audience, like, what do they want from us, Like, what do they want from me now? Because now they're following me. So it's like, oh, now they want the intimacy. They want the connection. They want to connect with me. And like I was saying earlier, most of our listeners are women.
Love that.
You know, a straight man's listening because he was forced to by his girlfriend in the car or whatever it is.
It's our producer.
That's why I was like, Joe's a straight man and he's the producer. But he's a Virgo straight man, so he has a gentle side.
Questionable. I am a Virgo.
A gentle side. Yeah, Virgo. But and then you learn, you know what I learned too, Jalen? And you're gonna learn all this too when you travel, when you produce a show. Because me and Alice produced it from New York and LA, and we produced a show in the middle in Chicago.
Yeah.
And I didn't know business math. Remember? Like I didn't know this. For me, I like to just pay people. So for me, it's like I will take a hit as long as the comics get paid. And Alice was like, "Listen, this is what you do. You pay the venue, you cover your expenses, and then you split amongst the comics, and then you take the profit." I didn't know that. So for me, I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to eat it, you know?
Yeah.
Because I get to travel with Ethan and we get to do whatever. And she's like, no, cover your airfare, your hotel.
Yeah.
She's like, because some of the comics are in town. They didn't travel. So to them, like $200 is a lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because and when you were starting out as comics, we don't make that kind of money.
No, I mean honestly, keeping it a buck, like $60 could be a good night. You know, that covered gas and something to eat, and then if you get 2 drink tickets from the club, that could count as 2 items. So you can get a plate of food and then a drink, and then that $60. You
got to do what you love.
Yeah.
You got to entertain some people. You did your 10-minute set. You got to be a star.
When you say it out loud,
But you know, that's just us starting.
Yeah.
And comedy ain't glamorous till it is. This shit is not glamorous, but until it is.
Yeah.
And it will be. But that's what I learned, business math. I was like, oh, thanks, Alice.
I love that. No, because you are very generous. We talk about this.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, the one in your ear, like, they should just be happy. They're going to be heavy anyway. You know.
Jalen's like, listen, they get to entertain some people. You're welcome.
Yeah.
You get a good room. You get a good stage. You get a good audience.
I think any incentive, like, you know what I mean, is going to touch the person performing because we're not used to even being thought of half the time. Or the fact that somebody off tops of the night are like, I'm going to pay you. Whereas they don't say they're going to pay you until you've brought so many people to a bringer show. And then it's just like, hey, here's $50, even though you brought 50 people. It doesn't math correctly. But it makes you feel good.
You know, the thing about bringer show, and those of you who are listening who aren't comics, bringer shows just means you're booked on a show and you're required to have a certain amount of guests to come to the show, which on a business perspective, I understand that part because you make me money, I pay you.
Exactly.
That's a business, right? Meryl Streep makes the production company a hell of a lot of money.
Yeah.
So she makes a lot of money. The problem with the quote unquote bringers is if it's like they require you to buy tickets beforehand or they need you to come out of pocket. Things like that don't do. But as a comic, you need a fan base.
Exactly.
You have to have it. That's just part of entertainment. You know what I mean? You need a fan base. And I'm going to say this out loud.
Because we were whispering this whole time.
Once upon a time when I first started producing, I didn't know shit. I just wanted to invite all my friends and, you know, we had a show or whatever. I didn't make any fucking money. But it's been years now and I am no longer running a community talent show.
Yeah, period.
Because I have a child to feed.
Exactly.
I have comics to pay. I have a venue to pay. I have to pay bills. You know what I mean? So if I'm creating a stage for you with a kick-ass lineup, with a good venue, and I'm paying you, then I need you to pull your weight.
Yeah. And I also think just in business and in comedy, I think that you defy the kind of like stereotype for a comic that's starting out. Like, I feel like you've hit the ground running. Like, you did your first special within how long?
3 years.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Some people would say that's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I was just talking to a friend of mine that posted like a meme where he said he was filming his first 1 hour in like a Denny's, and everybody was so excited for him because it was like, first of all, you booked Denny's? Like the breakfast spot?
Like the whole restaurant?
You know, so we're all excited. Like, you know, you could think this is funny, but Denny's? Like, you booked the whole thing.
They're closing Denny's for you?
And so I'm thinking he's doing some cool shit. And he's like, I've only been doing stand-up for like 4 years, 5 years now. It would be crazy if I filmed a special. And I'm just like, the fuck are you saying? Because some of us are taking a gamble on ourselves. You know what I mean? And I started thinking about you and, you know, what you did. And I just think that you defy all the business norms for what stand-up comedy has to look, and you're a woman of color, and you're a woman, you know what I mean? And so it's doing the exact opposite, and I think that's cool.
I know, and you know, I watch my special now, honestly, and I'm just like, ew. But it's gonna happen.
But now you also, here's the big thing, now you know business math.
Now I know business math.
It's full circle.
I know business math, and you look at, and you know what I love about it is when I do have a real, like a network streaming service special or whatever, let's say Netflix, let's just say, then they can, whoever's watching that can look back at the Prime Video special and be like, wow,
see your growth.
It's a possibility. It's possible. And you have to do everything yourself, because I can't just sit here and wait for something to happen. You know, like, you just have to figure that shit out.
Yeah.
You know, but thank you for saying that and reminding me.
No, yeah, I think what you do is super cool. Like, and also you're generous. I feel like we know how this city is. You know, this little community of what we do is. So it's really questionable when somebody's like, hey, I'm going to pay you. And it's just like, I didn't have to give them no ass tonight. No, I'm playing. I didn't have to give them no.
I get all excited. Somebody Venmos me $25. I was like, ooh.
Gas money. I'm telling you.
I was like, look, I got $25. And you know what? And this is not to say not to know your worth and all that stuff. It's just know where you are in the game and know, you know, just be aware of, like, I just started.
Yeah.
Like, some people are like a month in. I was like, is this a paid gig? I'm like, excuse me?
Who are you talking to? Like, I just started getting paid. Like, what are you saying?
Great. And I love you for your confidence and your enthusiasm. But also, like we said before, I guarantee you're not the funniest person in the room yet.
You're not?
So just pay your dues. That's all it is.
No, yeah, I didn't even know I was supposed to be getting paid after being 4 years in. I should get something. And now I'm pushing, like, what, 7, going on 8. Like, I didn't know. I just started accepting payment. And
what?
Yeah.
You started comedy when you were 20?
When I was 21.
21?
Yeah. I turned 29 this year.
You're turning 29
in September.
In September. You're Virgo. Mm-hmm. September 8th. 21st, 22nd.
22nd.
Because you celebrated dates at our show. Okay. But 29. You started at 21.
Yeah.
Wow. Can you imagine following your dreams that young? That's awesome.
A doozy. You know what I mean? I feel like I had blind confidence then. And then it wasn't until I performed for the Whiteys in Silver Lake. And they didn't boo me. They just didn't laugh. Like, it was silent.
Why? Because you didn't write punchlines or what?
No, it was just because I was so loud and just black.
You were?
Yeah, and I was really political. I started off very, very political. I mean, I started off during the Trump era.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So I was very intensely political. It was overly black. I'm saying the N-word with bass in my voice.
I gotta see one of your first sets.
It's awful watching it back. But and then they just didn't laugh. And I performed with
Flame.
What's that guy? Michael Yo.
Oh, okay.
Well, not him.
Oh, okay.
But one of his girls from his radio show that he had at the time. I don't know if he still has it. And she was the Hispanic lady that did, like, psychic readings on the show. I performed with her. This white guy that after we did the show, he had this Netflix series come out that he was in the lead in. So they were like working girls that I was performing with. And the audience ate them up. And it was the first time in comedy knew me that was exposed to the fact that like comedy shows don't have to be traditional, just stand up. Like some people could do improv, some people could do like character work, and then it was like it was a host that like a duo, two hosts at one time getting up on stage doing bits together. I'm like, what the fuck is this? And then I'm about to come do this political black ass shit, and all they served was coffee, tea, and maybe wine.
And nobody was drunk.
So you know what I mean? Nobody was fucking with me.
So it was crickets?
Crickets.
Silence?
Crickets to the point where all the comics came from the back room and sat and was like, they're not laughing for Jalen. We're going to sit and laugh for him.
Wow.
And then they were like, no, but your writing is good. Like your writing, is there. And I just went home and I'm just like.
Oh, but you know what? That just wasn't your crowd.
But I didn't understand it at that time.
Okay.
So I internalized it, and then I started internalizing it. But you keep performing, you have your good and bad nights, and then the pandemic hit.
Oh, yeah,
and it's just, you can't do what you love. And I wasn't as hungry as a lot of the other comics where I'm like, I'm going to get on Zoom. I'm going to go meet in the parking lot. I wasn't. But I loved the people that were doing that. Yeah. Shout out Carol. But, that just wasn't I could not do that.
Zoom helps me so much with my writing. I found my comedy voice on Zoom because you had no other choice but to write, and if you weren't a good writer, you would bomb on Zoom really hard. People would start turning off their cameras. They don't laugh. You know what I mean?
I just didn't like the fact that like I didn't like the glitch, and that would throw me off because I remember like recently last year before last I did the comedian Michael Collier. I did his morning show, and he puts it on YouTube, and so you got to log into the StreamYard.
Oh, Lord, yeah, that would be
and
slow.
my Wi-Fi, I got Spectrum. Fuck you, Spectrum. Count your fucking days. It's bad whether it's raining, hailing, or snowing. It's just bad.
I don't have Spectrum. You don't have Spectrum, Joe? Oh, you do?
It's awful.
I have T-Mobile now. It's better.
A Zoom, I couldn't even, if all we had to Zoom for emergencies, if I couldn't dial 911 and I had to Zoom, I would never get help.
You would die.
I would die.
That's it.
It's awful. And so I had to learn how to take like pauses for me to glitch.
Yes.
to come back in. And then, so that's why I didn't get into the Zoom.
Oh, I hear that.
I had bad Wi-Fi.
I hear that because then you feel like you're bombing the whole time. And nobody can hear you.
I remember I did a stage reading. There's a show on AMC Plus called Cooper's Bar that my first comedy mentor that he wrote and created or whatever. And I had to do this reading for Rhea Seahorn. She plays she used to play Kim Wexler, the wife in Better Call Saul, that show. And so, like, I had to do this reading. I had all these lights on me. I was sweating like a cokehead in church. You know what I mean? I had to turn off my fan. It was during pandemic time, and my Wi-Fi was glitching. And I love her only note was like, but does he have to read it so gay? Meanwhile, I just thought I was a mess. So that's why I stopped fucking with Zoom.
I hear you.
That was that first thing, and then the comedy shows came after.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, it wasn't for everybody. Did you ever watch Zoom shows? No. Some people didn't even like watching
I did a Zoom play.
Me too.
I did a Zoom play for Mecca. It's like a mental health organization that services like the entire Asian community. And then so my friend wrote this play about like suicide. We did it on Zoom, and then at the end you're doing Q&A, and you would have to wait for like 6 translators.
The mental health for Asian community. Wow.
Yeah, it was great. They were older.
That's crazy because most Asians don't believe in mental health.
They don't. That would be largely our Q&A.
They don't believe in mental health. They're like, what?
What did we sit and watch?
A whole ass joke about it. Autistic.
But no.
Oh.
But I say all that I'm vibrating.
Oh, okay. But you say all that to say?
Just to say what you're doing is cool. And we went full circle. I'm feeling the screwball.
I gave Jalen some of my screwball whiskey, peanut butter whiskey, y'all. Screwball.
But Zoom shows, I didn't do Zoom shows.
Would you rather be an actor or a stand-up comic if you had to pick one? Really?
I went to school for acting. I went to a theater conservatory. And then in our last term, we had to take a stand-up class, and I ditched the entire class because the first assignment was to study a comedian that you like, come in, do one of their bits for 2 minutes.
Wow.
And then we're going to work from there, right? And then you'll build your own set. And then for your first show, you have to perform in the original room at the Comedy Store.
Oh, nice.
And so literally I was like, I found this Mike Epps bit about
Mike Epps.
about
so
like
goofy.
white kids versus black kids. And I'm like, I can do this. This is easy.
That's why your stand-up was like black in the beginning.
This is easy. And then so I smoked a shit ton of weed before class. I wrote down his bit, and then I went in and I like could not talk. And I was on stage just like flubbing it, and it was going bad. And I was like, I'm never fucking coming to this class again. This isn't acting. And then literally I ditched. And then midway through the class, I came back and our teacher was like, okay, you guys are going to get up and I want to see your 6 minutes. I want to see you hear your 6-minute material. I leaned in front of the girl that was sitting in front of me. I said, bitch, what material? And then she was like, we've been writing for 6 minutes.
Oh, shit.
And then so I sat there with a piece of scratch paper and I wrote out what turned out to be my first set.
Oh, nice.
And it worked. And then they threw me like a tag here and there. And then I ended up performing that in December at the Comedy Store for the first time.
Did you take any other classes besides that one for stand-up? No? So you just learned how to write punchlines yourself?
Literally. And then I purchased Bobby Lee Oliver's book. Mm-hmm. And then I studied that. And then I just learned how to like set up punch tag.
You know what I read this piece on Facebook, whatever, that said some comics are comedians because they want to be good comedians, and some comedians are comedians because they want to be famous. And there really is a difference.
There is a difference.
And then he was saying that most comics who want to be famous, comics don't like that, their humor, because what comics find funny and what real people find funny are usually very different things. And then there's that rare time when you get the ones who are good comics and stars, right?
Yeah.
So like the Wanda Sykes and the Chappelles and the Kevin Harts or whatever. But you really see it like in our level of comics, like who are the star comics, the want to be famous ones, and then the want to be good ones. Because I spent a lot of my time just working so much on my material and my good jokes and writing all that stuff. And I was wondering, how come some of these people don't care about writing punchlines? They just, as long as they get a laugh, they're happy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, they just want to be famous.
Yeah. Are you an open mic girl?
An open mic girl? I used to go to a lot of open mics.
Okay, same.
Not anymore.
Do you feel that is the makings of being a good comic, like after looking at open mics in hindsight?
That's a good question. I think finding your open mic. You have to find the open mic that works for you. Because because this is what Bobby Oliver taught me. Men rule open mics.
Yes.
Women rule comedy clubs and shows. So if you're going to open mics with all boys and you're getting laughs there, and then you're wondering why you're not getting laughs at a club, it's because it's just boys. You're not getting the right information. You have to win over women.
Yeah.
In a comedy club, because statistically, women are the ones who want to go. They drag their boyfriends. They pay for the tickets, or they have the girls' night. And it's really rare you get a bachelor party.
Imagine.
But you get the bachelorette parties, and you get divorce parties or whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to win over women and connect with women.
Yeah.
So my point is, so in the beginning, I always went to women's mics. So when Bobby told me that, I was like, if I'm going to spend time going to a mic, I'm going to go to a women's mic, because that's where I'm going to get the right feedback.
Yeah.
And they pay attention to the jokes.
They do pay attention.
They pay attention to the jokes. So and that always worked for me. Right? So I was never one to be like, I got to go and try every mic and my jokes have to work in every room. I'm like, I don't have that kind of time and energy, first of all. If I did, I would. But my thing is just find the mic that works for you, or else you're going to be miserable at open mics, because they usually suck.
Yeah.
They usually suck really bad.
I think there's this idea, like, in order to be a real stand-up comic, that you do the whole open mic. I call it the chicken circuit, like, or the chitlin circuit, like that you have to do that in order to qualify yourself. I do think it's a great networking opportunity, but I don't think it's the mecca of what it takes, or I don't think that's necessarily paying all the whole of paying your dues beforehand. Like, I don't think, because I just had a friend, like, I only do open mics. Well, that's why you're going to stay at the level that you are at.
You gotta graduate.
Yeah.
Graduate, and then at some point you'll be Neil Brennan and your open mics at the Comedy Store main room.
Yeah, exactly.
That's their open mic.
Exactly.
Mark Maron and all of them there.
Yeah.
Bobby Lee. Like, that's their open mic. They're like, what is this 200, 300 seater?
Yeah.
This is my
I mean,
open
at
mic.
most open mics, this is not even people listening to
They're
you.
not listening
It's
to you.
other comics with their faces in their notebooks, and occasionally you'll get a ha.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, find the mic, because there's so many open mics. So find the one that works for you, and depending on what you want to be, if you want to work the clubs, you got to go to the mic that gives you the right information that you're gonna kill at the clubs, versus bar shows or whatever it is.
Yeah, I remember when the Ice House open mic used to be, you put your name into a bucket.
And you had to buy drinks or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I love this. This is
My
our
boss.
manager.
Oh, Jesus.
This is our manager.
I know.
Please, though, he said enough of this shit. Because we got off topic. Way off topic.
25 minutes.
Oh, we are? Okay. But what were you saying about the mic? Oh, they think what? That you have to do open mics in order to put in your...
in order to like pay your dues, or that's like the makings of a great comedian, versus if you listen to a lot of people's process, like a Cat Williams doesn't do open mics. He writes his own material, he works it out amongst himself, and then he goes you know what I mean? That's what he said. And then when he tours, he tests that material, and then he tests that material on the tour up to his special. You know what I mean? Like, I think and he's at a level where he doesn't necessarily have to peruse an open mic. But even when Kevin Hart peruses an open mic, he comes, he freestyles, and his team of writers sit there and listen to his freestyle.
Right.
And then they go rework it.
Right.
And so I just think it's a different process for everybody. I feel like my self-esteem is a little bit too much wrapped up in what we do. And then so like open mics like wear me down mentally.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, it's not that I expect a laugh or a pat on the back, but sometimes I think when I deal with other men, and specifically straight men, I think that there's a hater kind of energy that comes forth.
Or they just don't relate to you.
Yeah.
They don't.
Or they come up and be like, and this is the dumbest fucking question, but maybe it's necessary to ask this question, but I hate hearing, do you write? What the fuck else did you think?
What else am I doing?
What did you think?
But maybe that's a compliment, though. No, really.
I should start taking it as
No,
such.
really, because if I was like, do you write? Meaning like your writing is really good.
Yeah.
So do you sit down and write?
I thought they was asking me if I was freestyling, battle rapping.
No.
I was mad. I'd be mad.
You know what I mean? Because I feel like that's a compliment.
Yeah.
Because it sounds like you write. Because you are a good writer.
I appreciate that.
You are a good writer. And again, when I first started comedy, I did open mics like 3-4 times a week, 5 times a week. It's necessary. You have to do it because at first you suck.
Yeah.
Like, even if the funniest person in the world, like they're conversationally funny, you still got to learn how to write them punchlines.
Yeah.
And you still got to learn how to do stand-up comedy. And you still got to learn how to deal with the lights and the microphone and the stool and the audience and whatever. So you have to do the open mics.
Yeah.
But just find the ones that work for you. That's
that.
it's very, very important. And just remember, I know I say this all the time and a lot of people don't listen to me, but Bobby Oliver says women rule comedy clubs.
I believe that.
Men rule open mics.
I believe that.
So if you're killing at an open mic, that don't mean much.
Slow down. Slow down, because that shit might not work in a club.
Yeah. Or in arena.
Yeah.
Or in a theater. Yeah.
That's what I think. I think maybe those venues are closer to performing in a club. I think performing in a warehouse or a restaurant or a bar, I think those are entirely two different energies.
Very different energies.
You know what I mean? Just because you're trying to pull drunk people's focus that were not there for you.
Yeah.
And then, or if somebody's eating and you're about to open up with some ignorant ass shit, like they're in the middle of their meal, you know what I mean? So you're trying to pull focus. But at a club, they're there to see comedy, so they want to see it, you know, so it's just different.
I remember I was getting paid to do a gig. I was only a year in to stand up, and less than a year. I was getting paid $50 to do 15 minutes at a bar.
Love that.
And I bombed so hard. I bombed so hard that the ladies in the front, sitting in front of me, were like, they were like nodding, like encouraging me, like, it's okay, sweetie, you can do it.
Yeah.
They're like, you're fine. I was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I even text the
who's Rudy Moreno is one of my coaches for comedy, and he used to work with George Lopez.
That's great, yeah.
So I was like, he's the one who booked me. And then after the show, I was like, Rudy, I don't even want to take the money.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I feel really bad. Like, I bombed. He goes, no, you didn't bomb. He goes, your jokes were there. It's just the audience. Like, don't worry about it, you know? But let me tell you, these bar shows, and that's when I didn't know. That was when all I knew was my type 5 or my type 15 or whatever. That's all I knew. So I didn't know, I couldn't deviate from it. I couldn't play with the crowd. I couldn't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So when I'm bombing, I just got to plow through my set.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bombing.
And that's more painful than going into fight or flight mode, because your fight or flight is what you rehearsed. You know, so it's so painful.
Yeah.
My first 15 minutes was at Bobby Lee Oliver's club, and I don't know why she did that. And thank God I had mostly family in the audience, and I was super new, so it worked. But I also I learned specific things there. The comedian who passed away, Robbie May, his ex-wife, Lana Turner, was there. And she was like, never wear a hat on stage unless you're going to wear it backwards. Or unless it's like a fedora type of hat. Because we want to see, with your material, I want to see your eyes. I want to see your facial expression. And I'm like, well, bitch, I'm blind. I can't see nobody's face when I'm in the audience. You know, when I'm watching comedy, I can't even see Joe's face right now. You can't? No, it's blurry.
It's just blur.
But I know he's white.
It's just a really bright blur. It's like a spotlight.
It's shimmering white privilege that I see is glittering. But I learned certain lessons. That's how white privilege feels. Yeah. You heard that?
Interrupting whenever.
No, she taught me certain lessons like that, like pace. Take your time, even if you don't realize that you're taking your time. Like, you're talking faster than you realize you're talking in a moment. Like, enjoy them enjoying you. Like, she had gave me specific, and then she went out of her way to be like, can I have your number and can I send you pictures in your hat to why you should never wear a hat again on stage.
You know,
and that was so meaningful.
There's something about you that women, I'm just going to say women because I'm speaking for myself and Lana. Women want to work with.
I love that.
There's something about you that, you know what I mean? That's like, oh, let me, I think it's because you're, first of all, like I said, you were easy to be with and you're very open to feedback. Like, you don't get defensive. You're
no,
very,
I don't at all.
Yeah, you're like, oh, okay. You know? And we wouldn't say that if you weren't a good comic.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard, it's easier to give feedback to a good comic.
Yeah, than it is to somebody that thinks they're good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then they're going to ask. I was gonna
it was the shade coming forth.
No, I was gonna say then they're gonna ask like, how was my set? And you're like, oh shit. And I don't lie very well. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? I mean, if I was getting paid a lot of money, I could lie. But I'm saying, I don't tell people they killed or you're hilarious if you're not. Okay, so my point is, you're a good comic.
I appreciate
that. And it's like you have this energy where we want you to do better. We want you to succeed.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why, to bring this full circle, because I know I got us off, but to bring it full circle in me speaking on how generous you are, I didn't get paid my first time ever until like 2021. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was a decent sum of money. Like, I made $500 in a comedy contest, and Flame was like, this is your rate now. It's Flame headline, right?
Yeah.
It was like, this your rate? I'm like, Flame, I can't ask for $500. But then I started to. And it was working, but then it started feeling weird because I was rusty. You know? You know what I mean?
But see how you're aware.
You know?
You're aware of that. Like, some of these people are like, I have a loose 5 minutes and my rate's $250. Like, no. You know?
And we know these people, and heavy emphasis on loose.
Loose 5 minutes.
Loose 5 minutes.
Loose 5 minute set. If you're listening and you're not a comic, a 5 minute set, it's, you know, you're type 5. You're however many minutes of jokes you're supposed to be doing up there.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. $500 could be your rate.
I don't want that I don't want that. I don't want it. I want it to be my rate.
You want to deserve it.
I want to earn that. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I want when people know that they have to send me that deal memo up front to discuss how much I should be paid. You know what I mean? Versus versus me being like, hey, this is what I want.
You know what's worked for me? For anybody listening who wants to get paid doing stand-up,
You won't. No, I'm playing.
what's worked for me is when they ask me for my rate, I say, I work with your budget.
Yeah, I say that too.
Because was still new. So it's like, well, let's see what you can pay me. And it's always worked out.
Yeah. And I mean, when people want to pay, like, I think the misconception is that when you get into comedy that you're going to be paid around town. You probably won't be paid at all. You'll get you might get 2 drink tickets or 2 item tickets, and that's going to be your blessing.
Right.
Especially if you're a struggling artist, that's going to be the thing that kind of carries you through. Yeah. Like take your food to go.
Cuz people are getting better at paying. You know, but I'm just saying, just have some awareness and know where you're at in the game and how your joke writing is, and
and don't do bringer shows until build yourself up to a bringer show, because you know what I mean. You do the same 6 minutes weekly. And then you don't wear your people out the second or third week.
I always tell people that don't wear out your fan base. Like do it like once a month or once every other week or something, and split it up. You know, you invite, because everybody needs a fan base. When you're new, your fan base is your friends and family. So split it up. Like I just need 5 friends to come to this show. And I need 5 friends to come to that show. Y'all don't got to come to every show. You're gonna hear, and tell your friends the truth. Just say, I'm still working. I'm still new. I'm still working my new material. This is my stage time. So come support me. Don't feel the need to like write a new 5 minutes every week.
Every time.
You don't have to.
No, I think that's the misconception. I do what I know or think will work, and then I might add something new, or I straight shit out every show. Right.
And guess what? If your jokes are really good, most of your people will listen to it over and over and still laugh.
And then be like, you did that different tonight.
They'll still laugh, because it's like Beyonce singing her hits. You like single ladies. You know what I mean? Like,
hear it every time.
Linda, you can do that joke about moms that fuck their kids. Oh, your husband's like dating a kid. Oh, having a husband's like having a kid. Oh, you fuck your kid. They like it. No matter how many times I say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because that's what they want to say.
I used to wear a church dick sucking joke into the ground before I stopped doing it.
You just keep, and you know what? I'm not doing, and friends and family, I'm not doing the jokes for you. I'm doing the jokes for the new fans that I'm going to gain from these jokes. And I just need you there to clap and support and laugh.
Fuck that. I'm doing it for the booker at the club so I can get booked again. Because I know it works.
Come in trying your new 5 minutes and the booker's there. You're like
but
bombing.
Quick trick. This ain't going to work for everybody. But like if you're at a bringer show, this doesn't work for everybody. But if you know people ain't coming, or the 3-4 people you had started canceling on you the night of, go to the show, be there early. Get there early. So you seem passionate. And and then when the promoter or the booker comes around wanting to talk to you to see where you should go on the lineup, be like, my people coming. They coming, they on their way.
Okay, Jalen's saying a lie to the booker. Don't lie to the booker.
They on their way. They coming. Oh my gosh, we're already midway into the show. Oh my gosh, they just canceled on me. I can't believe I was expecting.
Jalen drank too much. Okay, no. Don't lie to the booker. Don't do that.
Don't lie to the booker.
Don't do that.
That's not gonna work for everybody.
No, it's not.
We have to wrap it up. I've been drinking that's off topic.
Because sometimes you have credibility with a booker. Just don't lie, because you will get caught. And then they may not tell you, the booker may not tell you to your face, like, I know you're lying, but they will tell every other booker that you're a liar.
Is that why I've been blackballed?
No, really. Like, bookers usually know each other. Like, producers usually know each other. So sometimes that works, and Jalen's had credibility with certain producers where he could pull it off. But don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't lie.
Unless
you're making a lot of money from it, but you're probably not.
You're probably not. I just want to stage shy.
It's better to just be like, my friends aren't coming. I'm really sorry. I can do 3 minutes.
That's the hope.
But okay, so how long have we been doing this for? Yay, Jalen! This was a good episode.
I don't know what we talked about. I took us off. It was the screwball started hitting, and then I
gave him my screwball, and
we took a quick right. We took
telling everybody to lie to bookers. Stop.
Get naked in the club next.
With all that spells, pull an usher. Just take off your shit. Rub up on the booker. Start singing My Boo. Bring on the skates, Luda.
Oh, yeah. And you will succeed. Okay.
Casting couches are good.
Yeah, unless there's a guarantee. Now, if he invites you somewhere and you ain't never heard of him or the show or the production company, don't lay down that night. But if it's familiar, who's to tell you not to?
Who's to tell you not to? We're not judging over here.
Yeah, we
Are
don't
they fighting
judge.
out there? Who's fighting out
I
there?
think
Anyway,
they're fighting.
thank you so much for being here, Jalen. Thank you, Joe, as always. Thank you, everybody,
having me.
for hanging out and listening and being here. Like, comment, subscribe, follow. Follow Jalen at Jalen White, LA. Flan Dangerous, Joe Flanders, the Lintorious podcast. Follow us. All the good stuff. We love you so much. Come back to episode 15.
I was going to say, follow Joe at January 6th. All right.
Bye.